everyone, this is Beth Castellini with Lizzie Stamps, and today I wanted to show you a fun technique called smooshing. These are two cards that I made with a different colorway, and I wanted to show you another colorway that we'll be doing today. But this is using the Changing Leaves stamp set, and it has a hybrid embossing folder that goes with it. So I'm going to put these cards to the side. And I want to show you, this is the stamp set. And then this is the hybrid embossing folder. What I mean by hybrid is that you have a die right here. There are other dies in the set, but this die will cut out and emboss at the same time. So I love that. I love that. So I'm going to show you how to do that. But I want to show you this beautiful stamp set. So this is an online exclusive. So you can go on to my website and click shop and click down to the online exclusives and you'll find it there. It comes as a bundle and you'll save 10% when you have the bundle. So here you have these beautiful leaves, and then you've got some beautiful typeset sentiments, and inside you will find some dies, and I've already cut out using this die and this die, and I'm going to show you that with the card, but you have some other detailed leaf, and here's another leaf, and then you have some really nice stitch circles, and then you have these sentiments the dies for the sentiments as well. So I'm going to show you all of that. So this is a clear photopolymer stamp set, and they're really fun and easy to use. So we're going to be using that as well. Okay, so I wanted to show you real quick before we get started is that when I did the last one, I did it, and I started with a 6x6 piece of paper because the embossing folder is 6x6. And what's nice about this is it does only cut out several of the leaves, but then you have these other embossed leaves that you can use, which I think are great. And I'll show you on the cards after I make this technique card, and so you can see what I'm talking about. But you still have some detailed images of the leaves that you can cut out and use on the inside of your card or put it on your envelope. So whatever you decide. So that's why I kept it. So my colorway for the card that I made, and I will show you the two cards right now, is I used pumpkin pie, copper clay, and wild wheat. Okay, and we're using a blue. We're using the blues from as a family. So here you can see I cut out the leaves with the die, and I used just one on this card. And this paper is from the Country. It's the Country Flowers bundle, and there's a lot of wood grain designer series paper, and I took one of our deckled rectangles. What I used was the adhesive. I used the foam adhesive sheets, and I popped that up with those strips. And then these are really fun, and I didn't realize I hadn't even used them before, but these are the 2023-25 in color opaque sparkle dots. And if you can see the sparkle in these, they're so pretty. And they're in all the new in colors that came out last year that will be good until next year. So I thought, oh, I've got the copper clay, so why don't I use some of the copper clay embellishments? And here I stamped a little note to brighten your day, and then I cut it out using one of those stitched labels. And then I took some linen thread and I did a double bow, And if you notice, because we're going to do this too, but you see some of the sparkle on the leaf, but that's the wink of Stella. And on the inside, I used, as I said, I used some of this leftover paper and cut it out and glued it on the inside of the card. So I think it's a really fun card. So then I had 2 of the leaf images left. And I decided, well, why not? And I was looking at some paper and I thought of the Thoughtful Journey 6x6 paper. So we're going to be using some of the colors that are in this paper pack. And we're going to use one of the pieces of the Designer Series paper. This is beautiful watercolor paper. You have a beautiful, I'm just going to show you one, that you've got a beautiful landscape watercolored image, and then on the back it's just a wash of the color. So, and this is Lost Lagoon on the back, but there's lots of colors in this Designer Series paper, and it's really, really pretty. So I thought, well, why not? So this sheet of paper that I embossed already with the embossing folder is from the Changing Leaves bundle. And then I used the other 2 leaf images, and then I cut out one of the detailed leaves from the dies that come with the stamp set and laid it on top of there. This is some of our silver and clear ribbon. I noticed when I was putting it together, I said, oh, goodness, I have silver and gold. But the metallics just work well together. But you'll notice this label punch that I have, and this stamp set is called Labeled with Love. And it comes with a punch, or it comes with dies that you can punch out or use dies. Use the die. But I got the punch instead. So we're going to be using this. We're going to make this same layout card, but instead I'm going to do it in a different colored way. Here's the punch that goes with it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Oh, on the inside, I stamped one of the leaf images in Wild Wheat and enjoy your joy today. So the happy birthday and the enjoy your day come with the Labeled with Love. I really do love, you have the 2-step stamping. You've got some presents. You could make tags with these for a birthday present. I think it's really cute. Just very simple. So we're going to start with a piece of 6x6 just basic white. And we're going to use a smooshing technique. I have my glass mat right here, and this is now available online. It was available during a sign-up promotion during the month of February, and they finally have it on the online exclusives for all customers to buy. It is really, really great. It comes with a silicone mat that you can use to help. It's really great, and it helps you have your stamp pads so they're not moving around. Here it is right here. I was trying to find it. Here we go. So it comes with this wonderful silicone mat. If you get some of our kits, or you get the paper pumpkin kits, you've got stamping spots. And so this area is for stamping spots, but it's also to help with mixed media. And then right here, again, for mixing. And then this is a great way, and let me just show you, it holds everything in place. So it holds the pad, so when you're stamping, it's not gonna move around. So that is really great. Then it comes with this really wonderful chamois, and the chamois is a thinner chamois compared to our other chamois that are in the catalog, but it's stretchy and it's a gray color, and it's really great. It's about 8.5 by 8.5. So, and I keep it in one of our DVD cases that we do sell in packs of 3. And so I just keep it wet and keep it right next to me. so I can wipe my surfaces off. So we'll be using this a lot today. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So the colors that I'm using today, I'm using Boho Blue, Lost Lagoon, and Pretty Peacock. It's a pretty interesting way to do it, but I think it will be really fun to try because these are the colors that are in this paper pack. So I just picked out some of the blues. You could use some of the oranges and the yellow, or you can use some of the greens. So there's just all different color families that are in there. So the first thing we're going to do, now this can get messy. So I've got this spritzer, and this comes in a 2-pack. And these are great. One, I have rubbing alcohol in, so if I'm doing a technique with rubbing alcohol, but this one has water. We've had these a long time. You can also mix with your inks if you want to, if you're making a technique for spritzing. But this one is really fun to use on this surface. We're going to be using that. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And as I said, it gets a little messy. So I think the first color that I'd like to start with is Lost Lagoon. So when I'm doing this, I'm just going to be tapping just a little bit, just like that, onto my surface, okay? And I'm going to do one color at a time, and you'll see why. So when I'm spritzing, I just want to make sure that I'm close, and make sure that you have this spritzer, the nozzle facing down so you know to spray. And I'm just going to wet my surface just like that. Okay? And then I'm going to take my 6x6 and I'm just going to push down and hold it like this. And look at that. Isn't that great? So again, I can go ahead and put down more of Lost Lagoon. Tap, tap, tap. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm going to go ahead and spritz again. And it's funny because when you're doing this technique, the glass mat will get you'll get some spritz. You'll get some little sprays, and it actually looks really great. So now I'm going to move this around. I'm going to do on the other end. Look at that. And this is what I mean. See how the glass, it picked up the little spritz parts? I love that. It's really pretty. Notice right here, I didn't get a lot of water there, but that's not going to matter because it's going to be covered up when you use a different color. So I'm just getting the rest of the ink on there, and we're going to leave it like that. So now what I'm going to use is my wonderful chamois that comes with the glass mat and wipe it all off. Look at that. You wipe it all off. I like to take a dry paper towel every time that I'm starting with another technique. Okay, so there it is. And now we're going to use Boho Blue. Now this is my experiment too, because I've never done it with these colors. So why not? You want to do one color at a time, because if you were to put all 3 colors together, it would just be a big mess. So again, here I go, I'm spritzing. There we go. Okay, and I'm just going to move the paper around and pick up the color. Wow. You would think you wouldn't know how the colors work together, but I think this is such a fun technique. Pick up more. Let's do some right here. And let's do some right there. But see how it smooshes. Okay, I think let me do a little bit more. Maybe I can do some over the Lost Lagoon. Pick up some more right there. Okay, I really like that. All right, so we're done with that color. And I do, the spritzing gets everywhere, but it's so great with this glass mat because you just wipe it down and you're ready to start with the next color. Okay, So now we're going to use, now this is really, I don't think I want to use a lot of the Pretty Peacock because it is such a deep color. So I'm really just, because this is such a juicy stamp pad. So I really think I'm going to saturate this color. See how that, it just spritzes. And you should see my desk. There's spritz everywhere, but that's okay. So there's the, and if I get a little bit of too much water, I just take this and go like this on my, there you go. We're going to do the middle. The paper is very saturated. You could use watercolor paper for this, but the basic white works just as fine, or even the thick basic white. So I'm just trying to pull up some more color. Let's do right there. And it's okay to have some white space left. I like having the white space just a little bit, so it's not too much. There we go. So as you can see, I still have some left, and I've got some of the spritz. So I'll pick that up. All right, let's do this right here. All right, I think, let me just add a little bit more right there. All right, and right here. Okay, I'm happy with this because I'm not using all of it, okay? So I'm just gonna be using, so I'm gonna stick this to the side for just a minute so we can clean off our surface. And the chamois is great. It really cleans up, and you just keep rinsing it underwater. So, all right. So now we're ready. We're going to heat emboss, dry it, okay? Because it is very saturated, and you do not want to run it through the emboss and cut machine because it won't give you a good impression. So this takes a few minutes to dry. And the other thing about this glass mat is while I am sitting here, I can leave the paper on the surface and it's not going to get hot. So this is great. So it just takes a few minutes. Okay, so this is pretty dry now, and you'll notice it's lightened up a little bit more since it's dried, but don't you love the colors in that? This is going to be so fun to emboss. Okay, so now we're ready to emboss, and I'm going to take my folder, and here are the dies, but I want to lay my paper. We have to decide because of this area, so you sort of want to close it up and look and see, because this will be cut out, this one and this one. So you can move the paper around and decide what layout you like best or what colors. I actually like this because I love this one with just the little blue and this one. So I think we're going to do it this way. So I normally take the die and lay it on top with the cut side up, okay? The cut side is up, and this is just an easy way to lay it. You'll feel like a click, and you notice that it's in place. Oh, one thing I forgot to do. I can't believe I forgot to do this. But the last thing that we need to do with this is take our Wink of Stella, and I'm going to flick the Wink of Stella all over the card. So I'm just taking my lid of my Wink of Stella, and you'll notice I'm just getting a splatter. All around. Everybody loves to have some kind of glitter. I do, I know I do. And what I'm doing is just wiping the lid a little bit and closing it up. And then let me wipe down, get rid of the sparkle. And then I'm just gonna quickly take my heat gun again and just dry the Wink of Stella. Okay, so there you go. You can add your Wink of Stella while the paper's still wet, it'll dry, but I think it's better, it looks like it's more vibrant when you add the Wink of Stella after you've dried the paper. Okay, so let's try this again. I'm going to click this in place. There we go. And I'm going to lay down my paper and get ready to go run it through the machine. All right, so here we go. So when you're doing the embossing folders, the 3D ones, you're going to need the #1 plate. And it does give you the instructions. So this is the instructions for the 3D embossing folders. So my #1 and my #4 plate. I want to make sure when I am running this through the Big Shot that I have the spine going into the machine first. So I'm going to be doing that. And then I lay this on top and run it through. It'll be a little tough to get through, but that's because you've got the embossing folder with the dies in it. Okay. That's fine if you hear that click. That's not going to mess up your machine. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up. And then you'll see the magic. It's so awesome. So you have this leftover area that you can cut out some of the leaves if you'd like to. We're going to put that aside, but look at this. I just love the hybrid embossing folders. I'm so glad that Stampin' Up! Is offering them more. But I'm going to hold this up so you can see. So you see the detail. Here's the debossed side and the embossed side. And then here's this one. If you wanted to add more Wink of Stella, you could, but I just think that's perfect. And then you have this one. Look how pretty that is. So we are going to be using, we might do something a little different this time, but we'll just have to sit and play with it. So I'm going to put these to the side. So we have Pretty Peacock as a base. Then I took one of the pieces of the Designer Series paper from the Thoughtful Journey, and I wanted the Wild Wheat because I think the blues would really stand out on the Wild Wheat. And if you notice, I've already run it through the machine, so you can see. And here's the back. So you could use the deboss side if you wanted to, but I really wanted this wash of Wild Wheat to stand out. Okay, then I have a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 white that's going to be for the inside, and this piece is 4 by 5 1/4, and then this is a piece of 4 1/4 by 11 cut at 5 1/2. I'm sorry, scored at 5 1/2. Okay, then I have, and this is from the silver foil. I have some of the pieces from the dies from the Changing Leaves bundle that we'll be using. Okay, so we're going to put those to the side. And then I also have some of this beautiful iridescent ribbon because it's going to pick up all the colors. So I love this ribbon, so we'll be using that. And then we'll also be using the Petal Pink and Pretty Peacock foil gems. We're going to be using the Pretty Peacock ones. So I've got 2 different sizes. So we'll be using those today as well. Okay. And then we've got a piece of scrap paper for our outside for our sentiment. So this one I said happy birthday. And we'll be using one of the 3 colors that we used for the smooshing technique. Okay, so let's go ahead, and the first thing I want to do, I know I want to add some of that ribbon So we're going to go ahead and add the ribbon. And what I like to do, if you notice, I have a push pin, and I take push pins and I stick them in so the ribbon stays together when I have it stored in my ribbon drawer. So I'm just going to measure out. I just want a tail on each end and take my paper snips and cut. Okay. And since we have used the designer series paper and ran it through the emboss and cut machine, you have to be very careful when you're using glue. So you can take, and I'm just going to take some regular tape, and I'm just going to tape either side. So I just want to make sure I have this up. Okay. Ooh. And take a piece of tape and tape the other side. And this masking tape, it's really easy because, or the regular tape, because if you don't have it straight, you can just pull it off quickly and fix it. Okay, now we are going to glue this panel onto the pretty Peacock card front. And I'm going to be using my multi-purpose liquid glue. And I am going to use a generous amount because I am gluing it on the deboss side. So I definitely want that glue everywhere so that the card adheres to the card. So we're just going to go ahead and lay that there. And it's just nice. You have that nice border. So there we go. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is, we have that, we're going to put that to the side, and we're going to take our strip of basic white cardstock, and we're going to now be using the Labeled with Love bundle. So I have this one image right here that I'm going to be using first. It's just a little decorative edge, and I love that decorative edge. I'm just going to go ahead, and I like to lay down my I like to lay down the dies and then the flat parts here, and just push down with my acrylic block, and it goes on very quickly. So I think what I'm going to use is I don't know if I want to use, this is the outside or the inside. Maybe I want to use Lost Lagoon. Okay, so I'm going to tap, tap, tap. And I'm going to push down and hold and lift up. There. Okay, so for the sentiment, since I used Happy Birthday on my other card, I could use You Are Loved. I could even use Enjoy Today and put Happy Birthday on the inside. But I think let's try You Are Loved. I think that's pretty. So now I'm going to take my pretty Peacock, but I'm going to go ahead and take out You Are Loved. And we're going to make this go long ways, okay? So I'm going to turn this. I'm going to add this, and I'm making sure that it's straight. I'm using the R in the middle along the line, and then I'm just going to take and put it on my acrylic block. So now I'm going to be taking the other thing I want to do, this is a new stamp set. So I have my sanding block, and I'm just going to prep the stamp because I'm taking off the film from production when they made it. And I'm going to tap, tap, tap. You don't need a lot. And I'm just going to go ahead and push down, hold, and lift. Okay. I like those colors together. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my other Stampin' Chamois, and I just want to clean off my blocks. Okay, so now we're ready to punch it out. All right, So I'm going to open it up, and I always like to punch it upside down. So I'm going to put it in, and I'm going to line it up. You're going to have a little bit of a white border. And I'm just making sure I line it up. There we go. And punch. Okay? So it's great to keep those extra strips of basic white paper so you can use it to do labels like this. All right. Oh, let's go ahead and stamp the inside of the card. I'm going to use this piece of scratch paper, and I'm going to be using one of the leaves from this stamp set. And I think since we're using the blues, I sort of want to, I'm going to make it a lighter color. So I think I'm going to use the maple leaf. I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. All right. So again, I'm just going to put this down. There we go. So it's ready to go. Okay. And I want to put it right here, but I don't want it so dark. So I'm going to use probably, let's do it again since we used Lost Lagoon already. And I'm going to be using this, but I want to stamp it off. So when you stamp right onto the ink pad, that's called first generation. When I stamp off scrap piece of paper and then I have the lighter color, and see how much lighter it is? Look at the difference. So that's called second generation. So it's nice because you can use the same colored pad, but get a whole different kind of color. All right. And then from the other stamp set, I think it would be so cute to stamp "You Are Amazing" in every single way. And I'm going to stamp that in Pretty Peacock. All right. So I'm taking that one. And again, I'm going to line it up. Make sure it's straight. Hoping it's straight so I can see. Let me just do it down here a little bit so I can see better. So my head isn't in the way. Okay, now we're ready, and I'm going to take the Pretty Peacock. My Pretty Peacock is pretty juicy, so I don't want to stamp too hard on it, okay? I just want to make sure that I tap, 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 okay? And then I can look to make sure I have all of the ink on the sentiment, and I'm going to stamp over the leaf. There you go. So "You Are Amazing" in every single way. Okay. So we have all of our stamping done now, and now we're going to put the card together. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and glue this piece in. I am definitely a liquid glue person. And because if you don't line up your piece that you're gluing on correctly, then you've got some time to make sure that you can move it to make it straight. Okay, so there we go. All right, now for the front. So we know that we're going to have this piece this way. All right, so we can decide if I want to, I can add this piece right here. We'll see how that looks. I think that's really pretty because we are going to be using some of these die cut images. So I think that'll be pretty to use that. So I think what I'm going to do with this one, I'm probably going to be using all of my dimensionals. And I love using all the dimensionals, even the little parts. These are some of the dimensionals that are left over from some of the card kits that we get. So I like to use every single piece. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this down. And remember, we're going to stick this underneath. I'm just going to stick one right there. So I have 3, and it'll anchor the leaf to the card. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this underneath like this, right about there. Okay, I didn't do these 2. I did this, and I added dimensionals to these 3 leaves. Okay, so the next thing I'd like to do, I want to go ahead and adhere the sentiment onto the card, because then I can add my other pieces of silver foil. So since I've already dimensional this, I'm just going to add dimensional to the bottom and add liquid glue here, so then it will be level. So I'm going to go ahead and add dimensional there, and then just add some liquid glue right up here. Okay. Take that off. And now we will lay it. I just want to put it right about here. There. Okay. If you want to, we still have the other pieces. And you could put one right there. And then we can add the silver foil like this if we want to. Wondering if I like that, but we can try this one as well. And add this on top of there. You could add all 3 if you wanted to. I just think it's a little too much. If we did not stamp the leaf image, I could have used this piece and just glued it on the inside. This is hard. I'm trying to decide which one I want. Let's try it again. I think that's pretty. I like that one. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to use some dimensionals that I have left over. Like this. I don't need a lot. If I need to adhere some glue to it, I will. Okay. And then I'm going to have this come over. So I'm going to get my silicone mat, because when I'm gluing these little small detailed dies, it's really helpful. So I'm just going to add some glue right here along the spine, and add some glue there to the top. So I'm not worried about getting it all over my glass mat, because once the glue dries from this, I can just wipe it off. Okay, so we're going to move my silicone mat, and now we're going to add there we go. I'm just going to push down. You notice I didn't put a lot of glue on there because I would like for it to fly up just a little bit. And I could curl these up if I wanted to, the ones that I didn't adhere down. Same with this. There you go. I like that. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and add some of this right here. This one moved just a little bit. There we go. Okay. I really don't need a lot of glue. I can use my silicone mat again, but I'm just going to add just some glue right here. Okay. And then we're just going to stick it underneath the label. Okay. There. Isn't that beautiful? I think that is really pretty. So I have this extra piece to use later. And I've used up all of my dimensionals, so I'm going to throw that backing away. Now we're going to add our embellishments. So it's always fun to add the embellishments. And like I said, I'm going to be using, now these have gold in it, but they will work well with the iridescent ribbon. So I want, because we're using Pretty Peacock as our base. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull off let's add one here. Got a little bit of the putty, and then a smaller one. Let's do it right there. And I think I'm going to do another one. I always do everything in odds. So if I'm going to add more embellishments, I would just add 2 more to make it 5. So 3, 5, 7, 9. And then I'm going to add 1 more right here at the bottom. Okay. So there you have it. What a fun card. I love, love, love the blues. I'm really glad with the colors that I chose. Here is the other card, the happy birthday. And here is this one. And remember, I added some of the paper that was embossed. I just cut it out and put it on there. So you have 3 beautiful cards, all different, but just absolutely stunning. So I really hope that you enjoyed this technique. I will be using the Changing Leaves bundle and showing you some other techniques how to use it. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope you enjoyed this, and happy stamping.